Yo, what is happening, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over everything you need to know about World War III. I posted a short yesterday with a brief YouTube clip on some gameplay, and I got a ton of questions about the gameplay, where we can find this game, is it available on console, and will this compete with AAA titles. I also forgot to mention for everyone in the comments, I am not sponsored in any shape or form by the creators, the devs, or the owners of this game. I just enjoy the game. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so you're probably wondering why you haven't even heard about this game, or if you have, why am I still talking about it in 2021? So while the current game is still in its beta, it initially got released in October 2018, only then getting removed from Steam in August 2020. Since then, the developers from My.Games and Farm51 have been developing and implementing major changes to the game, such as server performance upgrades, graphics, sound and gameplay mechanics, and other just quality of life improvements. Now, it's back on Steam in its beta form and can be played if you're willing to make a purchase. However, this does cost money to get the early access. World War III will become free to play when it initially releases to the public. However, we don't have a specific date as of yet. I myself haven't even heard of this game at all until last week. And given the current state of the FPS shooters, you know the ones I'm talking about, the heavy-hitting AAA titles that we all know of, such as Call of Duty Warzone and Battlefield 2042, which have released with an overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam, and Warzone has just started to nosedive as a whole, and the player base is drastically getting smaller and smaller day by day. So if you're new to the channel, and you weren't aware, I am a huge fan of both of these titles. With that being said, I just wanted to change things up and try something new. So here we are. I purchased World War III beta and thought I would share what I know about this game with you. Now, watching from the gameplay, you can probably already see this is leaning towards more of a tactical shooter, pun not intended, with similar gameplay mechanics to others games such as, ADS leaning, the ping system, the HUD design, and tactical equipment. Whilst not being as hardcore as some other titles, this still has your arcadey multiplayer sandbox shooter feel to it. However, it does have that element of realism over the typical AAA arcade games. Basically, to put this in a nutshell, if Battlefield 2042 and Escape from Tarkov were to have a baby, this is pretty much what you'd get. Alrighty, so as far as the customization is, this is some of the most in-depth customization I've seen you can do to this day. So obviously, like many other games, you've got your identification player banner, so you've got your player card, your emblem, and you can rep a flag, and obviously it's all visible on your soldier. Equipment, so once again, this is where it kind of comes into the class system. You don't necessarily have to pick a class, but it just makes it easier. From default, assault, anti-tank, support, marksman, and sniper. So they're pretty much the same thing unless you're going to a semi-automatic rifle. And the first thing you can see straight away is each loadout has different weights. So obviously if you're running a sniper rifle, you're not going to be running around the corner hip firing people. So I kind of like the fact that they do take the high caliber guns into effect and not making them too overpowered and making, in efforts to balance everything out. This is where it gets pretty cool. As you see on most games, you do get the attachment setups, but this, I think, goes that one step further. It shows you what you're unlocking, standard hollow sights, but you can go iron sights, medium magnification, there's multiple on each, special sights. So this is more or less just breaking it up. Obviously you've got your hollows here. Once you've kitted out your gun to how you like it, you can do this with your secondary. So you can do this with your secondary too. I've just realized you could potentially run two primary weapons. Is that right? Weight limit reached. Okay, so there you go. You you cannot obviously have two. That'd be way too overpowered. That's good. I like how they've done that. So another thing that's unique that I've not seen before, you can get different types of armor plates. The Kevlar plate, effective against pistol calipers, weak against protection at intermediate calibers. And then you go up to the ceramic plate. This one's obviously a little bit heavier, but you've got the best ballistic protection. So I think that's a really cool little feature just to keep that customization top tier. Same with the head armor. So yeah, these are pretty standard, but you've got a fair few choices here. And then custom backpack. To be honest, I have no idea what this is. I'm assuming you can put it down and then you have to get something out. I'm not too sure how this works. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be people in the comments giving me some insight to that. So yeah, obviously pretty new at the game. I haven't got too much unlocked, but I really think the customization of your soldier, that's a really cool little touch there. Just going that one little step further. Obviously they're not going with the arcadey glowing skins or with smoke coming off it. They're keeping it pretty realistic, which is good to see. So from the start, I think you have options of playing tactical ops, 20 versus 20 combined arms battle tactical ops, lobby size 1 to 40, and then team deathmatch, 10v10 fast-paced skirmish. So yeah, obviously this is just a lot more of a, your typical arcade shooter. Just get in there. It's not so much about holding points and trying to capture flags or whatever. Whereas tactical ops, you've got score limits, there's a certain amount of times, and you've got capture locations. It's just a lot more strategy towards it. So I'll just keep them both on. We'll just jump into a normal match. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, this is cool and all, but what about the game itself? How does it feel? How does it play? What is there to grind for? And most importantly, what everyone's been asking, is this coming to console? And obviously with all this, what are the cons versus the pros to this game? Well, I can confirm, for a small development team, this game feels great. Yeah, it's got some bugs, but the realism and the pacing is a perfect mix between that arcadey battlefield shooter with the hardcoreness of Tarkov. It's really grabbed the core, elements of Battlefield, whether it's similar to Conquest, spawning on your squad mate and just making them pushes to capture them zones. But then I feel when you holding these guns, the initial recoil is good, but when you really start to hold and sustain fire, it really becomes harder to control. Which sounds bad, but I think it's great. It extends the ceiling gap and it just doesn't make, creates more of a difference between low-skilled weapons and high-skilled weapons and what rewards they bring in. Also, whilst wandering through the menu, I noticed there is a ranked mode. So I'm assuming this will be available when the game becomes free to play. This is really cool. You've obviously got competitive tactical shooters like CSGO and Valorant, and they are huge. So if this game can implement that really well, it could do really well for the fan base. Whilst this game has come a long way, it still definitely has its concerns and just annoying problems. Servers are still crashing. Vehicles are way too overpowered. I've been beamed across the map, which is okay, but they're just way too fast and not to mention way too quiet, which is another problem in the game. The audio, it just needs adjusting. I'm hearing my teammates 30 meters away, which, is okay, but then I've had enemies just crawl up on me like they've used dead silence, could not hear them, and they've just caught me by complete surprise. With spawning locations, this isn't a huge problem as it's not too common, but I did get problems where it would spawn me in and my teammate was clearly in a gunfight and instantaneous death. And other times I've been spawned across the map nowhere near my teams and just been clearly outnumbered. With this being said, a lot of this can all be fixed or adjusted in the upcoming patches. Actually, at the time of producing this video, I believe an update was going live and they were addressing the server performance issues, which is promising because they are listening to the community feedback and acting accordingly. And with the pandemic going on and the amount of console players that are stuck on last gen consoles, I'm not sure if this game would be compatible. However, I don't see any reason why this couldn't run on the current gen consoles. So Farm51, MyDogGames, on the slim chance that you are watching this and you haven't heard, there is a huge player base that wants to play your game. If you can somehow implement this onto consoles, I'm not a developer, I'm not too sure how hard it is, and possibly enable crossplay, and there'll be some balancing issues there, but I really think this game could thrive in the right direction. So guys, that's the gameplay from me today. We just had a brief overview. I've had a ton of questions. I'm just trying to address them all quickly in one video. I'm going to start grinding out these weapons and attachments. Hopefully I've given you some insight if you want to play this game. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button for me. If not, the dislike. And until next time, guys, happy grinding.